people, welcome to episode 4 of Playing Classes Wrong. Today we are going to be looking at the Paladin, which is this lovely chap here. What do most people know the Paladin for? Probably being a Hammerdin. It's probably the most famous playstyle of the Paladin, so we are going to take that concept and we are going to completely mess it up. So if we are focusing on hammers, we are going to call this guy Jack, because he is obviously a jackhammer. And I'll show you what we're going to do here to screw this up. Okay, so Jack is in the game, and you're going to notice what I have done with Jack. I have given Jack, and I haven't done this on any other of these Playing Classes Wrong playthroughs, but I have given Jack a weapon to start with. Every other time that I have done this with the other classes, I use the starting weapon until I find the weapon that I'm going to be using for the rest of the playthrough. In this case, I would be doing this until I found a hammer. But I felt that that was too streamlined, easy, and it's probably been done. So I'm doing something else. Getting rid of the starting weapon, and we're starting with the Hellforge hammer. The kicker for this is, I can only use the Hellforge hammer for the entirety of normal difficulty. Whoa, whoa, whoa. The goalpost just changed. We are now only going to be using the Hellforge hammer through all of normal and all of nightmare, and we're going to take this all the way up to hell. Once we hit hell, then we can start using other hammers, but they do have to be hammers. Clubs, etc. are not acceptable, but I cannot change weapon until hell. So up until hell, we are stuck with the Hellforge hammer, baby!
Now back to your regularly scheduled program.
And if you have a look at the Hellforge hammer here, it's an interesting unique that gives 5 to 20 fire damage, a pretty decent amount of fire res, like 6 to 15 on the one-hand damage. So looking at this, we are probably gonna wreck Act 1 and Act 2, so I'm going to pump up the players count to players 8 to start with and try and get some levels under our belt. I imagine by the time we start getting to Act 3, 4, 5, we're really going to start struggling, especially Act 4 and 5. This is going to start becoming a real problem, and where this challenge is really going to start showcasing. So with all that being said, I'm hoping you've seen the last few episodes so you know how this is going to go. I will check in with you on key parts of the playthrough to keep you updated, and I'll check in with you in a bit. Alright people, I just wanted to check in super quickly with you to show you how unbelievably ridiculous this is. So I'm currently on Players 8, just running the Den of Evil, and on Players 8, we are just unbelievably smacking down everything. But hopefully by getting this chunk of experience now, it will save us a little bit of a headache later on. So that is the plan. We're going to try and Players 8 this in the early game to get some levels under our belt and hopefully makes the later game a little bit easier. You can see there, Players 8 corpse fire, like 4 hits, down. So we are wrecking the early game right now. So this one's just a quick check-in. I've been running tower, trying to get the rune words for stealth, and I've obviously been doing this on Players 8 because I'm trying to get as many levels as possible, and I've done this quite a few times. And on Players 8 of doing this run so many times, I've actually got myself to 17.5 levels, which is a little bit ridiculous that I'm actually over leveled for the stealth that I'm trying to get the runes for. I have found at this point, and there's a unique sword I can't use, it's unfortunate. How good would a Rixits be right now? Like, that's possibly one of the best starting weapons that you can find. And I'm stuck using, I mean, this is pretty good, but this is absolutely godly. I'm a little bit salty about that. Anyway, that's distracted me from what the original purpose of this was, and that was to update on the fact that I am trying to get the runes for a stealth, and that I am such a high level that it's getting a little bit ridiculous. I did want to be trying to maximize as many levels in the early game as I could, but it's starting to get ridiculous. I'm also finding so many because I'm playing on players 8, I'm finding so many items, I'm finding so many gems and jewels that it's a little bit overwhelming at the moment. I have also been forgetting that I need to be changing this back down to players 1 to kill a Countess, otherwise you don't get the rune drops. So hopefully now that I've remembered to do that, we get the towel that I'm waiting on. And we do get the towel. Lucky. So now I can finally move on from the tower at level nearly level 18. Right, people, I invite you to one of the greatest Andariel maps I think I've ever had. This is so good that I'm just going to run Andy a few times. So I'm running Andy on players 8, and you can see that when I load in, we just have to duck right here. And then we just have to run to the end of this corridor. And we can go and kill Andy on players 8, so we're already there. And obviously remember that this is players 8 still. And we just come up and we smack Andy. And I'm going to be doing this for a while, folks, so I'm going to try and get some gear, and I'll check in with you in a bit. I decided I was going to utilize that map of Andariel and run her until I stopped getting decent experience to try and get some gear. The gear that I was actually chasing was some Hasiris, which I managed to find. I was chasing a Nagel ring, which I didn't get, which I'm surprised, because I think that drops like 1 in 50 or something like that. And I was also chasing the Eisenhart set, which I thought might have been a good early game thing, but I wasn't really too fussed whether I got it or not. And I didn't actually find any of it, but I'm not overly upset about it. The main thing I wanted was the Hasiris, because I wanted the faster run walk on the boots, which I did get. I'm going to pair that with the belt, so when I put those on, you will see that I get this bonus here. I get a little bit of extra defense, but which is not anything to write home about. But the big one is I get this plus 222 attack rating, which is going to really help me as this playthrough progresses. The main thing that really got me with doing this was the fact that I continued to get experience up until level 22. And considering Andy is only level 12 on normal difficulty, I think that's a little bit insane. I didn't think it would be possible to get that high of a level. So I'm going to be progressing into Act 2 at level 22, which is absolutely ridiculous. So at this time, I'm thinking I'm going to jump over to Act 2, and maybe I will do some tomb runs and stuff like that over there in Act 2 to try and pick up a few more levels, and then we'll keep pushing on and we'll see how we go. Alright, so we're about to jump in and take on Duriel. So I am currently level 26. Once again, ridiculously over-leveled, but you got to do this because I'm anticipating that the end game of this is going to be absolutely miserable because I can't upgrade my weapon. So we're going to tackle Duriel now. I can't imagine this is going to be too difficult. Alright, so that was about as simple as expected. I didn't think we were going to have any troubles there. I did put on the Merc this bow with some amp damage because I thought that would be helpful against bosses, and it did proc at the very end, probably like my last strike. I was hoping that was going to proc on Duriel at the start so I could sort of chop him down a little bit quicker, but didn't pan out that way. I'm obviously up to Chaos Sanctuary, and I gotta say that this build is still holding its own. I did drop it down to players 6 instead of players 8, which was more of trying to keep the mercenary alive rather than what I was sort of really doing. But apart from that, for players 6 Chaos Sanctuary, I feel that we're kind of still killing it a little bit. This turns out the Hellforge Hammer is like a S tier normal weapon. Who would have thought? It was definitely not on my radar as being one of the best weapons you could possibly use for normal. Turns out, kinda is. They move over normal Hammerdin and move in Hellforge Hammerdin. I mean, look at him go. So we just have Infector left to kill, and he is down. I'm gonna put Diablo down to players 3, and we're gonna see how we go. Cruisy. No dramas at all. We will take that every day of the week. So I've just quickly charged up to Frigid here with Eldritch and Shank. And what I plan on doing is I plan on running these two for a little bit just to pick up some levels and to try and get some better gear. My gear is okay, but it's probably in need of a little bit of improvement at this stage. So I may run these two a little bit and try and pick up just a couple of levels, maybe go up to like 33 or something like that. I'll probably put it back up to players 8. I am still on players 3 from Diablo, and players 3 is, as you can see, is very quick and easy, so I may pump it back up to players 8 just to get the maximum amount of experience that I can. Once I pick up a couple of levels, I'm gonna basically just use charge and zip down to Anya, and then once again just charge onto Ancients. I'm not going to hang around in Act 5, I'm just going to do this one relatively quick. So I am level 33. It turns out that happened really quick because you get about half a bar of experience per run, so I may do a couple more runs just to maximize this while I am getting such a good experience. So you can see that run was about 1/3. So maybe I will do another 4 runs to try and get this character up to about level 35. And then I will push forward again. Alright, so this is going to be my last run. I'm currently level 34 and I'm nearly level 35, which is where I'm going to stop and move on. So far, just to recap, throughout these runs I've done, the only unique item that has dropped has been this. It's been Wall of the Eyeless, which is kind of useless for me, but I just threw it on the offhand because I wasn't holding anything. And I did have an Amrune drop, which I made a edge bow for the Mercenary. That's basically been the only drops that I have had, but the experience has been great. So it has been a worthwhile endeavor, and even though I'm stopping, I'm still getting a large amount of experience. I could keep going, but I don't want to waste any more time. So I'm just going to finish this one off and move on. I have obviously dropped this back down to players 1 because experience doesn't get increased with killing the Ancient, so I might as well just smack them on players 1. Now, on reflection, that was an unbelievably easy run. Too easy. We'll use the normal run as an exhibition of how good that weapon actually is in normal, and now in Nightmare, we're going to see how far we can really push this weapon. So, with that being said, let's jump straight into Nightmare. No more levels, no more messing around, we're going straight to Nightmare, people. Alright, so just a couple of things. We are in Nightmare, and you will notice that we are absolutely destroying still. The radius of our holy fire is actually killing everything on the screen, almost like we were a Dragondon. We are now down to corpse fire, and you know, a couple of hits and he is down. We actually got a level from that, which is nice. We are level 38 at the moment, and I have high hopes that we are going to be able to carry our Hellforge Hammer all the way through into start of Hell or the end of Nightmare, and then we can carry on as intended and finish off Hell with only using other kinds of hammers. Also, side note, the reason that is red is because it is taken from normal difficulty and it's not supposed to be in Nightmare. So it turns out we have an absolutely amazing waypoint position for tower. It's literally as close as you could possibly get. I may run tower a few times just to grab a few runes, just some basic runes, so we could do lore and spirit. Now that is a decent Merc Helm. Alright, just wrecking Endariel, and we get not a whole lot of much. It was actually a bit of a terrible Endariel map, so I'm not going to run her again. As much as Nightmare Endariel is actually amazing for equipment, I'm not going to hang around here because both of those maps of level 2 and level 3 were absolutely terrible. So we're just going to jump over to Act 2. And just like that, Duriel goes down to the Nightmare Hellforge Hammerdin. Update time, people. So I am up to Mephisto, and I have a great map. So I have the waypoint here, and I just sort of need to duck around the corner. So I could run Mephisto a couple of times. I'm going to judge how easily that is to do. So I haven't actually killed him yet, but when I do, I will judge whether it's worth running him a few times. While running around Durance, I found this Gilded Shield, which I'm considering taking to Larzuk and getting 4 sockets put in so I can make a Spirit Rune Word out of. Speaking of gear, I should probably start showing you the kinds of stuff that I'm using. I'm using these gloves here with resistance of lightning, fire, and some poison length reduced. I have this ring with 20 lightning, 9 cold, 10 FCR, poison length reduce, and 15 chance of magic item. This ring is actually very nice, especially considering it has required level 9. I have this on my other ring, which just has some magic find and fire res and attack rating. I'm using Hasaris still. I'm still using stealth. I have this all res shield. I'm using this amulet here just for a little bit more magic find and some cold res. I did end up making a lore, and I'm obviously using the Hellforge Hammer still. My charms are not great. They are just doing a little bit of life and resistances. In most cases, trains would be an amazing drop, but in this case, the only thing that really matters is the 30 cold res. Got to weigh up whether that's worth it or not. Alright, I know it was a great Mephisto map, and I did kind of consider running him over, but I just can't be bothered. So I'm just going to keep moving and push through to Act 5. I'm about to try my hand at crafting, because I kind of want to upgrade my gloves. I've been slowly upgrading my gems, and I have finally got myself a perfect ruby, so I'm going to give it a crack and see if we can get ourselves a upgrade with our gloves. We got 10 crushing blow and 22 magic find, 19 life, 6 fire res. These are not too bad. Are they better than these? Let's have a look at what my resistances are like. I'm gonna wear them. Alright, I might finally jump out and take this to normal and get Larzuk to socket it, because I'm starting to notice that we're no longer cruising as easy as we we once were. We've got a bunch of fire immunes now, which are becoming a problem. I basically just have to charge away from them. Having a spirit shield with the extra skills and the extra mana is going to help. We have jumped over to normal difficulty, and we are going to throw some sockets into this bad boy. We have our 4 sockets. We're about to run into Chaos Sanctuary. Just to try and show you how we are currently performing. The problem is these here Doom Knights, where I'm kind of relying a little bit on our good mercenary here to help me out. So the plan is to just take this slow and to draw them out. I can probably tank a little bit. But our mercenary is basically going to be taking those guys out. And we may even be getting to a point where we are being forced into a respec, where I will have to go physical. So I could probably go Vengeance or stay Zeal and Fanat. I don't really know which way I'm going to go yet. My hand has been forced, and I have hit the respec. The big question is, what am I going to spec into? Right, well, I definitely need that. I'm definitely gonna need this, but I don't know which one. Gonna max Fanaticism. Now the question is, using Zeal or Vengeance? Alright, so the dilemma is this. I think Zeal is going to be the long-term benefit. It will probably benefit me when I can use other hammers in Hell, where I feel Vengeance is probably going to add more damage than Zeal will to the Hellforge hammer, making the rest of Nightmare easier. So it's kind of like, do I want to be better now or later? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna go all in on Zeal. Done. All right, so let's jump in and see how we do. Oof. It is rough. It is rough, people. Get out, get out, get out. Oh. Well, I'm second guessing whether this was the right choice. This one's gonna be rough. Yeah, there's that crushing blow. Yes, come on. I'm out of potions. Come on. Ah. And just like that, we have defeated Nightmare Diablo using the Hellforge Hammer. So I am not far past the entrance of the frozen river, and so far I have died 3 times. So this is going to be an absolute mission. There's souls and snakes in here, which is a horrible, horrible combination, and basically things like that happen where you just get absolutely destroyed, and then I need to run away. So defying all odds, I've worked my way down to the Ancient's Way. I'm currently level 50. I've died a bunch recently. I was almost level 51, and now I'm back down to just over halfway. The Ancient's Way is also proving to be problematic and brutal. I have those Hell Lords who frenzy, who are just an absolute nightmare to deal with. I have the Spear Women who have the freeze, so they sort of slow me down. So then I'm frozen and getting frenzied, and it's just a death combination. I'm starting to lose faith in this Zeal Fanaticism combination using the Hellforge Hammer. At this stage, I'm hellbent on finishing Nightmare no matter what. And I still have 1 respec left, so I'm considering going back and respecking, believe it or not, back into Holy Fire. Because I think Holy Fire is going to get me through Act 5. Obviously, it will do nothing when I hit Hell. But once I hit Hell, I get another respec. So, I'm kind of thinking that I'm going to go the Holy Fire route. Because when I last respec'd off Holy Fire, I was doing like 800 damage, and now I'm doing like 150. I did consider trying Vengeance, but the thing is, if it doesn't work, I have no more respecs, and then I'm stuck, and I will probably not be able to get through Nightmare. I have a feeling if I go back to Holy Fire, I'm going to be able to get through Nightmare relatively easily. So that's the plan. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to respec, and we're going to go and rush the rest of Nightmare. Right, so I have just finished respecking my character into Holy Fire and out of Zeal Fanaticism to try and get us through the rest of Nightmare. So you would have remembered just a couple of seconds ago, I showed you that I was doing 50 to 150 damage with Zeal and Fanaticism. Now that I have gone back to Holy Fire, we are cooking with 1,500 to nearly 2k damage. Now, if this doesn't get us through Nightmare, I don't know what will. So my faith feels a little bit restored right now. I haven't actually gone down to test this out to see how well it performs, but at the moment, I'm feeling pretty good. We 100% made the right call on that one. I just demolished the rest of the Ancient's Way like it was nothing. I don't know why I was struggling with Fanaticism and Zeal for so long when I should have done that ages ago. Now let's not get too cocky because we're about to come up here and face the Ancients and hope that this goes okay. So let's see how we go here. Immune to physical and stone skin. You know, immune to physical and stone skin just sounds miserable. We're gonna do that again. Teleportation. Teleportation's good. What is this? Killed Ellie. Killed Ellie. You die. Try that again. Oh, immune to fire. Ellie, get out of the way. Oh. Damn it, Ellie. Supposed to have my back, Ellie. You got nothing for it. Taking any chances here. I avenged you, Ellie. I avenged you. So this is it. We've made our way down to the throne room. First wave is the only wave that will have any kind of fire issues. Old Colenso here with his fire immune, but he's so weak, it doesn't really matter. Right, here we go. We're off to Bale. And there you have it. Normal and Nightmare difficulty down with the Hellforge Hammer. Eth. I also found on, while I was walking through Worldstone, a pair of Bartoks, which used to be amazing. Now, at this point, I was going to move on to Hell, and the deal with Hell was that I was going to be able to utilize other hammers, such as this one right here that Bale just dropped. But I don't think I will. I think I'm going to end this run here. The reason I'm going to not do that component is because it's basically just going to be a standard Fanat Zeal Paladin. There's nothing going to be weird about it apart from the fact that he's wielding a hammer. The unique part about this run was the Hellforge Hammer, and I've done all of normal difficulty, all of Nightmare difficulty using only the Hellforge Hammer. The chance of successfully pushing the Hellforge Hammer all the way through Hell is pretty low, so to save myself some heartache, I'm going to just end the run here. Now, because I'm going to end the run here, I will show you what my end game build was. So I had a Lore, I had a Stealth, I have a Spirit, which was in a 33% enhanced damage Gilded Shield. I have a All-Res 20 Amulet. I'm still wearing the Hasaris combination from Act 1 normal difficulty because the attack rating and faster run walk and resistances were just too good that I didn't find anything that was better. I'm wearing a few good resistance rings. I really like this ring here. This is one of the best rings that I have found on one of these playthroughs, I think. If only I was a caster, this would be absolutely amazing. And then I crafted these gloves, which I showed earlier as well, which were the only gloves that I did craft. All up, I had 37% magic find. Inside of the stash, I just had a bunch of runes. Like I said, I was intending on taking this build to hell and then utilizing other hammers through hell. So I was collecting hammers along the way. I found a few of these, which I was going to be sort of saving for some rune words and things like that. I found these, but I liked the combination of Hasaris more. The Trangs, which I was hanging on to just in case. Everything else is pretty standard there. Our Merc is still rocking the Dust Deep, this pretty standard armor, and the Edge Bow. And last but not least, our skill tree looks like this. We have maxed out our Resist Fire. We've put 7 into Salvation. We have maxed out Holy Fire. We have 1 point down into Holy Shield. And we have 8 into Zeal and only 1 into Sacrifice. And that's how I'm going to leave it, folks. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I actually had a blast with this one. It's been a little bit different to the way that these videos normally run. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in the next one.